SCL is back. And who else other than Freak is going to be here right alongside me to bring you all the action of the Hextech League, which begins right here, right now. Elysium Aces are taking on Orbit Gaming Aurora. We have several other games that are going on right now, but we're not going to talk about those because, Freak, we're here to talk about these two teams in the Hextech League. It's week one, baby. Are we excited?
Week one of the Hextech League. And it blows my mind. Like, it's February. It's the new year. We got competitive Pro League. We got competitive Amateur League. We got League of Legends back. Brand new season. And we are on potentially arguably one of the best patches because it's the 80 carry buff patch. So we will definitely see how this is going to go. And I'm stoked. Now, what are we doing here? We're going to be casting these two lovely teams. As mentioned already, the teams are, as I have already forgotten, it is Elysium versus Orbit Gaming Aurora. That is who the two teams are that we are watching tonight here. And I don't know much about either of these teams, so Lam, why don't you tell me and give me some quick notes on who these teams are?
All right, welcome to Lamb's History Corner, because you know your boy's bringing all that history of the organizations in this one. Yeah, take a seat. Let's all get educated right now. Actually, hold on. I'll give you a brief overview because the draft is starting right now. These guys don't want to wait around, but we'll kind of go over just the common facts here. So Elysium, led by Grand Canyon, this organization kind of revolved around May 2021, right? They've been in several other leagues. There's big players in the team, and notably for me and Freak, there's a reasonable name that we know all too well, and that is Caddy, because Caddy comes from, actually Caddy's the boss man. So you know, if we want to say some nice things about Caddy, maybe it will score us some bonus points in this one, but you have to play well, Caddy. You're not getting out of it that easily here. We'll kind of discuss this and develop the storyline as the game goes on. But Orbit Gaming Aurora, now I spoke to Saucy Hunt recently, and this team is another branch out from the Orbit Gaming organization. It's a massive organization full of potential players from all aspects. We got gold, we got silver, we got, you know, all the way up to Grandmaster Freak. We got challenger potentially. I don't know yet, but if there's challengers to be held in SCL, we might need to make moves in season 3. We don't know yet. So quick overview of this team just really quickly as well. They started to get together last August. Legacy, Perma, and Insanity, who has that little funky name going on in the support role, have all played together in a previous org, but now they've made the change over to Orbit Gaming, and they're looking to make an impact here as we are through the bans already. Freak, tell us about the bans.
They were kind of speed running through these bans. So on the side of the blue side, we have Wukong, Belveth, and Ezreal. The Belveth ban is coming as a target ban towards OGA's jungler, so that's actually pretty nice. Udyr is still open, they picked that, but we'll get to that in a second as they are still speedrunning through this draft. On the red side, you have Caitlyn, who is a really strong priority pick in the bot lane right now, Zach, and Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz is a comfort pick on the blue side. So now, first pick, Maokai. Easy peasy to know that Maokai is one of the strongest junglers in the game. I'm actually okay with this pick that came through. This could be a pretty strong setup for even teamfights later in the game. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the draft goes. And on the other side for OGA, you have Udyr and Varus locked in. Varus being locked in signs a sign of utility. He's going to be either poke or on hit. We'll have to wait and see as the game goes on. It's leaning more towards the poke Varus right now. Oh my goodness, the Renata Glass coming in. They are just speed running through this. So Zaya and Renata Glass.
Keep up, baby. Keep up.
Ooh, I know, right?
You can.
So Zaya is actually a really good response into the Varus. You know, she can, ult out of whatever pretty much gets taken in. Oh my god, the Jax. They are still speed running. I ain't even done yet. Renata,
no hesitation.
Goes through. She can ult stop everyone. It's actually really good counter and really good disengage. Now I'm almost caught up because now we're on the Jax. Has got picked for the top lane that kind of just showed the top side of the map with the Udyr Jax with really good setups for ganking and other things like that. And Jax is just really broken right now. And now we're back to the bans as Olaf is banned on the red side, Vex is banned on the other side, and now we are almost caught up. As I say, gameplay is just now the next ban, and we are finally caught up. And there we go.
And that's why DBZ is one of the GOATs here. He's holding it down, getting us up to speed. Second phase of the banning already, as Freak already mentioned, the Varus and Xayah, these are another 280 carries that are again on the ascendancy. Usually you see that handshake between Zeri and there's another one that's really overpowered right now. It's Lucian. Yeah, there we go. That's why my boy is here tonight to correct me in case I go wayward. But certainly both of these teams, they're not going to go wayward here because these picks are pretty normal, right, Freak? Apart from the Renata, that doesn't doesn't
Oh,
really
there
tie
is.
in well to what we're
There
used to, but the
goes.
Nautilus is going to be returned. We got
Interesting.
several instances of big plays that can come out of, I was about to say Optimal. My God, that's a flashback into the Invitational, but it's Orbit Gaming. They've got a new and improved roster here as well, and the Nautilus kind of ties into that. The Jacks with the split pushing 1-3-1 is definitely a possibility, and having that Udyr going to be also important. But talk about that mid lane free, because we're starting to see those picks coming through.
Yeah, so Victor is pretty standard as what's coming into the mid lane right now. You're seeing a lot more control mages, or whether or not it's the Azir, the Victor, the Oriana's come back. You're not really seeing very many of those like really bursty Ari, LeBlanc, or Syndra type mages anymore. Cassante being left open is the typical counter pick into the Jack, so this isn't something I'm not really surprised about. As I've been watching like pro play and like various League of Legends games, we are seeing that like it is a pure skill matchup between Cassante and Jax. And just on Cloud9, Fudge makes that champion look absolutely broken, and he just makes it look so good. And then counterpoint to that, he played against Cassante today and made the champion look like complete dog crap. Like it's just that champions kind of just hit or miss, and like depending on who can play it. Now on the other side, we have potential. Okay, so we have Nautilus and Rise. There's actually been a lower priority in engaged supports right now because enchanters are really taking over the meta at this present time.
Yep.
So just knowing that like they're comfortable enough, Orbit is comfortable enough to pick this Nautilus is like, it actually shows me that like they want to make these plays. They want to like force you into situations that will make you uncomfortable. And Rise being the final lock-in also shows that they're going for scaling in the mid lane. Woo! That was a really fast draft, but man, we got it there in the end. And I like both drafts with what I'm seeing right now. And both drafts I think are pretty solid.
I think so as well. For an opening game now, it's worth noting that there's been a real struggle across the meta right now to actually find a pick that's good into Cassante, right? This champion has the ability to just 1v9, has the ability to take over the game, and it's very hard to actually crawl back from that, right? Champions that we've notably seen is Fiora has been an answer. Zac has been an answer. Zac actually taken away in this one. Olaf even is a pretty good one because Olaf can just run him down, trade heavily with him. But in this case, I do want to turn our attention to Orbit Gaming Aurora right now. 8 Ravens is their top laner. He is an imperious top laner, which means he's very confident in his ability to deal with that 1v1 potential freak. He's not scared to take on this Elysium top laner, and that same can go said across the board. But Boogie, the top laner Elysium Aces, is very confident in himself as well. So that top lane is going to be explosive. It's normally left on an island, but I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of visits up there in this game.
It's just what I'm seeing from like when Jax gets ahead, especially when he pops R, just the amount of damage he can do and kind of like force his lead to be further in the throat of the other top laner, and just makes the other top laner worthless. And it strengthens that potential either 4-1, or in this case now it is a 1-3-1 with the Rises. Rise is also known for split pushing. So that's also what tells me that like their game plan is to potentially get the top laner ahead, force that 1-3-1 to force Elysium into, I said force a lot, but to make them kind of go into these awkward situations where it's like you have to pick, where do you focus all your attention to, or do you just pretty much lose your base for free? And I honestly think that's intelligent drafting from Orbit Gaming. And will Elysium be able to match that intensity of like what the game plan is? We'll have to wait and see. Victor could realistically match Rise, as we know. Cassante, I think he's a pretty good split pusher, but like him matching Jax when he's ahead is really hard. But like we've seen some really wild things coming out of this champion. We'll just have to wait and see when the game goes on.
Well, it's a good point, and I mean we've already touched on the top lane here, but let's kind of dial it back a little bit, because this draft went thick and fast, ladies and gentlemen, and it doesn't really give you an insight in how these matchups actually will handle when it comes to actually the Rift here. And now DBZ, I want to do a big shout out actually for week 1 of the SCL. 74 viewers right now. We are up there, baby. Get your grandma, take her iPad, you know, if it's got that narration, navigation, make it happen for her. Get everybody in here because it's going to be explosive. This league just goes crazy, and I mean you're in for a treat tonight, as Elysium and Orbit are definitely going to put on a showcase for us. But let's dial it back a little bit because we're a little bit overexcited about this because it is week 1. Let's talk about that mid lane matchup here, Freak.
Yes,
So
mid
now
lane
that we've
Malphite.
seen the Victor, the Rise is picked as a traditional, maybe it's just a scaling safety in that composition. You know, the Realm Warp is going to come in. Shout out PJ. Oh, Polly J hitting the
Oh
gifted. We got
goodness.
gifteds everywhere, baby. It's going crazy. We need to try and keep up with the chat as well as the Game Freak, but let's be professional. We're going to dial it back again. I keep saying that every single time as we got 3 minutes on the delay. So Victor Rise, right? Victor is another scaling champion. Once you get your evolutions going through, then that laser can keep up with the Rise, you know, the bouncing spell flux. They're control mages in their own individual ways, but that really enhances the jungle. So take us through how this game is going to go from both of these teams, because now that we see the compositions, it's looking really, really close.
Yes, for sure. And it's gonna come down to jungle presence. Now, I'm expecting a push on the side of Elysium for their bot lane. They have the double range advantage. Unless Nautilus can get some really cheeky hooks going, then I think it's going to be in the favor of Elysium for the bot lane. The mid lane and the top lane, as we have said, are going to require jungle attention. Rise obviously wants to scale into the game, be left alone, get those items, take your towers, and do a million damage as he does while he's rolling his face all over the keyboard. Victor, pretty much the same way. So these junglers are going to have to decide, do we want to prioritize top lane or prioritize the mid lane? It's like you kind of have to play like chess with yourself and the other jungler to make sure like you're one of those two solo laners don't get superbly far ahead. Now I could be completely wrong, and they might just be like, "Yeah, screw it, bot lane gets all the attention in this game." But again, another minute 50 from now is when we will find out for sure. And just real quick before I go too far off the rails, I don't know who gifted me that sub, but thank you. Appreciate you.
It's about damn time. Well, look, as we get prepared to go into game one, I can let slip a little factor that might go into this game as well, into that mathematical equation, is that Orbit Gaming across several leagues here, Freak, they have had the better of the Elysium organization. They have never lost yet thus split. But everybody has to stay tuned, because after this break, it's game one. Welcome back. Yeah, back with a bang there. We actually see, if you cast your eyes over to the left-hand side here, Sev is without a flash. They ran it down mid. They connected the anchor from the Nautilus, and they get the flash out of Victor already. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game. It's not the first game of today. Of course, no spoilers, guys. We'll check in with the rest of the Discord later to see how the rest of the teams got on. But Freak, this one's already set up perfectly because Victor no flash. That's got to be Tyson for perma.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so unlucky. It's just Sev having to burn the flash. I mean, but that's the classic Nautilus level 1. Kind of just casually walks into your lane or through the jungle, just yeetily beats his hook, and if you don't dodge it, you're forced to burn a flash, and Victor is an immobile champion. So at this point, with Udyr just walking up, slapping him in the mouth and stunning him, and just the follow-up CC can happen, and he might just die. So no flash for the next, like, 4.5 minutes. This could be very interesting and determine the early game at this moment, but as we calm down, we're simmering it. Junglers are starting on opposite sides of the map. Will this mean vertical jungling? Probably not, because it does not look like either of them are aware of where they started. So they're just going to walk in the lane, easy peasy. We're going to farm it out. Now, I want to go back to the draft. As we mentioned, that we wanted to see like where the attention would go. Really good trade onto the Cassante there. You know, that's the classic Jax, turning on the dodge and like, oh, you can't hit me, boom, easy peasy, does damage. And well, he's going running grass. It's interesting. I was fully expecting Jax to run Conqueror, but into Cassante actually makes sense. He hits level 2 first and goes for the jump in, just gets more damage. So a lot of pressure already here in this top side. And I think this is about to go in the opposite of what I was thinking, because it looks like, oh, this is really close on their tower. Wow, just look at that.
Well, remember here, Freak, the Ravens is one of those very confident top laners. No flash, flash forward, Rune Prison gets stunned up as well. Perma making him pay, and Seth will fall his first blood, goes over to Orbital's jungler.
Yep, just like we predicted, no flash on the Victor. That means the Udyr will be there, which also explains why he started topside to be able to make that pass. He's TPing back, and Udyr is still here, but I think it's just to push the wave in so that way Ryze can get a reset. Most likely, if I had to guess what he's gonna buy, maybe an amp tone. Nothing really too like extraneous right now. But 400 gold to the Udyr gives them a nice, comfortable 500 gold lead, and just. It does exactly what we said would happen. The jungler went there, boom, instantly just first blood over. Now, here we are. Junglers are on the opposite side of the map once again. Cassante was being pushed in by the Jax, but Jax opted for the reset. Otherwise, this probably would have drawn the Maokai to the lane, and Jax might have either blown his flash and or died. So really good for him to push the wave in, reset, get a little bit of those items that he needs, and walk back to lane, and just, that pretty much neutralizes any potential of jungle pressure that could be up there in the next couple of minutes. A couple of seconds, actually, because Maokai is taking the scuttle. Will this cause him to... Oh, good ward in the river there. I'm not even watching what's going on in the bot lane at the moment. I'm watching the mini-map, and that's why I'm kind of commenting on it. But here we go with the Hex Flash.
Perma's making it happen again. Dilly and Caddy now under threat. Staggering blows going on the Caddy. Flashes into range of Perma. Sets it up. Bailout comes out, but there'll be no assist or kill. Traded over, and Legacy gets on the board.
Okay, so I have the stream open on my other monitor, and just the fact that just Insanity just weaved that hook through those minions to hook the Renatas, that was so impressive. And just the kill goes over to the Varus, an 800 gold lead now instead of the 5 from earlier. So here we go. They're building some momentum, Lom. This is exactly what we feared. And Udyr is making a repeat visit to this bottom in the mid lane. He has flash, but I think they might have.
Oh no, Sev,
he's thinking.
Somebody behind you. It's like a pantomime, but K-Peps and Caddy are here. They read it. They said, no more will you gank the mid laner in Perma. Under threat of falling here, and he will. As Sev bites one back with the help of the rest of the team right there. What good rotations to read that play. And Nautilus is here as well, and it's worth knowing, guys, that yeah, we got question marks over the name of Nautilus right now, but he will be referred to, as Freak already mentioned, as Insanity. And that play kind of deemed the same name as it reflected, and Victor all of a sudden that flashes back up, and now he's got a kill to his name.
Oh yeah, and the blue buff as well, so he can just stay in this lane if he wants to, but I would opt for the reset. He has almost 1,000 gold. Just get that reset, get a couple of amp tones, or finish your lost chapter. He should be able to finish the lost chapter, I think. Yeah, it should be lost chapter gold, and he also has futures market, so that should be a next coming up purchase. But just that rotation from Caddy to that mid lane, it's like they sniffed out that play way before it even happened, or maybe even Sev called it before it came, and they just came in. Just really, really intelligent gameplay coming in. All right, so here we are. We are 5 minutes in.
Here we are.
200 gold apart. Like, we just, well, about 200-300 gold, and it's just absolute difference from earlier. It looked like this game was going to go very heavily in the favor of OG, and I'm actually really, I'm really impressed with the turn of the tide in those couple of minutes, especially pretty much gets Victor back into the game. Yeah, he that puts him ahead of the Rise after that kill, so very well done. Rise will now TP back to the lane, and we'll just continue farming it out. That Rod of Ages is going to be built on the Rise, and the Dragon will now go over because they saw Dilly backing. They had a ward in that bush, and like, okay, bot lane's gone, let's get this Dragon. It'll be a Mountain Drake, which, you know, you're okay with the Mountain Drake first thing in the game. It provides a lot of, you know, extra little beefy stats so you don't get blown up as easily. And looks like OC kind of sniffs something, or is like trying to bait out them to push, so that way they can cause some more presence. But like, Victor does have flash again, and Caddy has probably spotted out that ward in the river. We'll call it out, and there he goes. Yep, we'll go ahead and take that ward. And now we're a little calm. The game started out pretty spicy, but 7 minutes in, we're a little calmer. But Nautilus here at the back, but he was seen on a ward. This shouldn't do anything here. Okay, Insanity will just walk back to lane, get with his Varus, get a little bit of that little experience, and now we're looking at level 6s. We're 7 minutes in, Rise is 6, Jax is 6, Cassante is 6, Victor is 6. These are really crucial power points that are coming in, especially with the Rift Herald coming up in the next 35 seconds. Do they prioritize the Rift Herald? Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, Perma will be spotted on that, so not too much will go there. But I expect the Rift Herald to be taken. I mean, especially if they want to try to funnel gold into either the Varus or the Jax, or then vice versa. Oh, we have a play here on the bot side, actually, so they're going to go for it.
Okay, Peps, who is the new addition to this Elysium roster. Worth mentioning as well that predominantly is potentially, again, I don't know, I'm not on the team, but there's a word on the streets that he is that new big voice in the team, the shot caller. His handshake goes down onto Insanity. He'll walk that one out because Nautilus is pretty hard to burst down, especially this early in the game. But like we said, level 6s across the board, actually level 7s for both of the mid laner and the top laner here. And those teleport is going to be available on the Jax. Nothing available on the south side of the river there, but cast your attention to our north side, Freak. Shelly is definitely a desirable target to try and get more gold into these solo laners' pockets.
Indeed, very much, but they're not really, neither jungler seems to be heading towards the area, which I'm surprised about. I know a lot of teams, if you have like a specific person that you want to get a lot of gold, they'll typically focus it about on spawn timer. So the fact that like no one is really over there, but Maokai is headed in that area, but probably just to get his blue look, but he will be spotted on it if he does go for it. A little bit of trading still here in the bot lane. CS is actually even in the bot lane. I do think gold is about, no, Varus has 400 gold, about 400 gold up because of that kill from earlier, so my bad on that one. Math is hard. It was not my best subject in school.
No, it certainly is. And I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together, then you get me and Freak, baby. That's how we roll in the SCL. Bring you all the action on this opening day. Maokai is roaming around there in that top side, but you can see both of the junglers, they're on the same page here, Freak. Most of the time, if there is action going to be had on one side of on the map here on Summoner's Rift, then it's going to be returned, right? Keeping track of those junglers is extremely important. The warrior nutrition that we go back to time and time again is keeping up with the wards and making sure you can see everything that's happening. And one thing that's happening right now is Sev's rotating because Cassante started up Shelly.
Yes, I did notice that the mid lane for Sev was trying to get as much priority as he could to be able to roam over to that Rift Herald as Cassante started it for them. So this will go down. You know, they're not even going to try on the other side, and this should be an easy peasy take. Where they drop it, though, is the most interesting part, because I foresee it being dropped either mostly in bot lane or in mid lane. I think because you want Victor to be that absolute AP threat that he usually is when he gets a lot of items. And it just also goes to show, like, the way this game has slowed down considerably from where it was. We're 10 minutes in, gold is pretty much dead even, and we're just like chilling. We're like waiting for this. We're anticipating. That's the word I'm looking for. We're anticipating for the next fight, or like even like solo fight that will break out. it's just kind of insane right now. It's just like, God, when is the next thing gonna happen?
Do
All right.
something. Poke with a stick. Do something. Come on.
Yep. That's
All
what I'm
this
saying.
hype.
Now, first crucial item is done. Victor is the first one to finish his Leandries, which I will casually say that we'll just make up on the spot that is the fastest mythic that has been done in SCL, even though it's the first game. So congratulations. I just wanted to be cool and make a fake award on the spot.
No, and that's worthy you say. Sev outplayed, well, I say outplayed, he had help from a few of his friends in that mid lane to get back into this. Blues flash right at the beginning of the game. Very understandable attempt, like you said. That Nautilus game in the level 1 is so potent. You can hook him in, stagger and blow, and then normally that results in a kill, or it gets the flash, which led to the first blood. And in this case, we reach a lull in the game here, Freak, and you can see that these teams kind of dialed it back a little bit. I keep saying that. I mean, that's going to be the catchphrase, baby, dialing it back.
I'm cool with that.
But they might not be doing it with this dragon because it's only 15 seconds away, and there's still a Shelly on the board. So if you're K-Peps, where do you drop this right now? Because you find yourself on the south side of the river.
I think with you give it to the most person, Sev is forced to flash. Okay, that wasn't kind of an awkward situation with the potential collapse from the Udyr and the Rise. Now does that take him out of this fight for the dragon? Oh, never mind.
Fuwark all out back, gets Raven. He tanks one turret shot and will get the ultimate back out of the Jax. Respectable trade up there in the top side.
Yeah, I mean the only advantage is that Jax does have the TP. He will be back. This dragon should go over. It looks like they're giving it up and handing it over. I don't think they really have like that good of an engage, right? Oh wait, the
Realm Warp. Realm Warp's available. Oh, they're in trouble. Hostile takeover comes out. Gets a flash through Caddy. Dilly will go on with a Featherstorm, but Caddy is left to the wolves as he falls. What a play coming out from Osei from the mid lane.
Yeah, that caught us off guard. Like we were not prepared for that Realm Warp to be turned into the bot lane like that. Caddy did try his best with the hostile takeover to try to kind of get some space, even burning his flash in the process, but it just wasn't enough, and unfortunately does go down. Udyr picking up his second kill. I'm either going crazy or AP Udyr has come back, and I don't know what's going on because I have not seen Udyr that often since his rework. So this should be very fun to see where this build goes. But more gold, and just even though it's weird, because even though that play did happen, yes, more gold does go in the pockets of Orbit Gaming. It's just there's gold is still slightly in favor because of that rep shot that was dropped in the mid lane. They didn't get that other plate. There was another plate that was close to falling, and they unfortunately did not get it. So the tower will stand at 1300 health, but it's just some extra gold that's needed. They really spot Maokai here in the top side. He should just back off. I do not think you dive this at all, so please do not do that. Not against the Jax.
No way Ravens having that ultimate up, and rightly said as well. Interesting build path from the Udyr, but normally the way that it goes now is you get that demonic embrace, which you can see reflected in Perma's inventory right now. So 13.5 minutes, not a bad time to get that demonic embrace so that you can amplify your damage that goes out, and then you start to go that tank path, right? You start to stack those resistances, because ultimately once Perma gets to a certain stage, he's running at you. He's unstoppable. He can get to the carries. There's no worry about that, and he's still a damage threat. So it's something that you need to take into consideration here.
Indeed. Okay, so that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so demonic into tank. I get it. I can see that. I mean, Udyr is not one of those champions that I would see that often when I would play. So of course it was a little confusing to me coming in, but with you explaining it, and I even see chat kind of going into it as well a little bit, just thinking about like what Udyr can do, it makes a lot of sense. But with no flash, I think he just dies here again.
Action in the mid lane. Sev under threat, gets room prisoned up. He can still get underneath that turret. K-Peps will hit the ultimate, try and keep Sev alive. He lives. No, he doesn't. He burns with a demonic embrace that we were just talking about, but Perma might pay for his life as Kasanti trades over and kills the opposing jungler.
I gotta say, we're not done yet. Okay, so now that we're done, that was pretty close. The burn from the demonic suddenly makes a lot of sense why you buy the demonic. I mean, his little fire spin nonsense with that plus the demonic does add and do a lot of damage, but they didn't blow him up instantly, which was interesting. It almost seemed like the little discoordinated once they realized the rest of the team was coming. Well, not the rest of the team, but the other two were coming. So it's like they really tried to peel off a little early before killing him, but it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade there at the end. Udyr does go down. I do not believe it was a shutdown. Nope, it was not a shutdown, but he does go down. And we're still dead even 15 minutes into this game. I cannot believe just how even this game is right now.
Well, the benefit for Orbit Gaming Aurora here is they do have those 2 dragons. And if I cast over, it's going to be an Inferno Soul in this game, Freak. That is always something that's pivotal. You cannot let that soul point go over, because then it puts pressure on Elysium to actually react to it. And reacting to a play, sometimes it's not the best once you don't have that positioning.
No, it's definitely not. And that's what I was looking at this too with the dragon timers with minute 15 till the next Drake. This could potentially be a 21, 22, 23 minute soul, depending on how fast that Orbit Gaming kind of go through. It's just, you just have to fight them here. But I mean, either team will take it. Udyr waiting in the wings, as I will briefly change the topic. He is kind of chilling here, but the wave is pushing in favor of Orbit, so I don't know if he will stick around here for long. He just kind of wants priority for that dragon. Nope, he is staying actually, but they're gonna dive this.
Change the corruption, go out, connects on to the support. Caddy in trouble here, burning with the Wingborn Storm. Legacy will pick up that kill. The teleport's coming in as well. Bailout on Dilly, doesn't get execute on the perma first, so he doesn't live, but Legacy will die here. It's Sev, the teleport is clutch, the Victor cleaning up the mess that happened in the bot side, accompanied by the Makai. This should be another kill over the mid laner as they get 4 and only lose 2. Triple kill onto the Victor.
4-4-2, the TP from the Victor. It looked like it was going to be a very dicey play with the bot lane dying. It's like I said, they wanted to get dragon presence. And now that I think about it, okay, so the mid lane tower falls. So first tower does go over to Elysium, but they get the dragon. That was the whole play. That's all they wanted to do, is just get the dragon, and that will end up being the prize as a result of that as well. Good for them for taking that dragon. It stops the soul. And just, wow, just very well done. And Sev getting those 3 kills. It's almost like that level 1 flash, not even thinking about it. And it's like, well, all right, and that's just over. But we're not done fighting, I don't think.
Leave that poor skull alone. Okay, teleport's going to be burned here as well. This will be Rise. Come in to join any threat that is to go down, but it looks like on this side of the coin, the Elysium, they just want to reset here. Victor, no mana, but ultimately Sev gets paid for those mistakes. They dive them, and they pay the price for it, and now this mid laner is even more accelerated, and having the Chaos Storm, as we got a DC coming through, a brief pause, but having that Chaos Storm freak, and now he's purchased that Shadow Flame, he's got that completed. This Victor in a 5-on-5 team fight is going to be a monster.
Yeah, I'm excited for where this Victor build can go. He has the Shadow Flame. I believe he finished that beforehand, actually. Nope, he just finished it a few seconds ago before this pause. But just, woo! Okay, so he is going to be very, very strong. But as we do mention in the pause, the support did DC, probably just refreshing their connection, and we'll be back very shortly. They will be back, and we'll be back in the game. But now, we're back in the game already. So, forget anything I was about to say involving, you know, what's to come. And let's talk about at this very present moment. So right now, I think Elysium in a very good spot. The game just briefly pauses. It does after a pause.
Riot Games, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, right? I gotta say, if there's one thing I would definitely get paid to do, it's to freaking fix this spectator nonsense that they have going on.
It's monstrous. One thing I do want to point out before we actually proceed on here is the team's return after that brief pause. There was a lot of praise actually, and I know the community will probably reflect this as well, that Zoro, there's a lot of praise on this individual who has taken up those reins to be as responsible as he can, make this all happen, was in action tonight actually on the Anarchy Boys. You need to go figure out what happened there. I know when I was tuning in, it was kind of fire what I seen. Trading over and getting a kill with Arcane Comet, dude, you're smurfing. But both owners of Elysium and the Orbit Gaming organization, they had big praises to say for this member of staff, and I think the whole community, they can reflect on that, Freak, right?
I agree. I love it. And hey, we appreciate it when like a lot of people get praised here for like what gets done. It's really great to also like pass on to each other and, you know, ego boost, as I like to memeingly say. even though no one here has an ego as far as I know, except me and Lam, because we're the best.
That's right. That's right. Tell him, freak. Tell him again in case he didn't hear you. No, don't. We're going to get cancelled and thrown off the cast. Yeah, we're the best. It's the best in the business, baby. Best in the business. SCL bring you the best in the business in Elysium and Orbit here. Now, we return to the game state. Now they're rotating the bot laners up here because bot side, on the side of Elysium, they've lost that turret. So what do they do best? They actually send Cassandra down there instead, nullify the lane. The Rise is always going to split push, right? This is where you start to see that diversion that's caused by moving the mid laners about the map. And Victor will go up against the Jax, but it's kind of interesting because you don't really want to put the Victor up against the Jax, do you, freak?
No, I mean, Jax will just 100-0 the Victor. So, I mean, I guess it's a little questionable decision making. But I think on the other hand, I see you're just looking for your Victor to farm up, get some of that extra gold coming in. And just like I predicted, that 1-3-1 has gone into full effect at this point. Jax, side lane. Rise, also side lane. But he has the roam to be able to join in at any point. He also has the TP. Not at the moment, but he does have a teleport to be able to do that. So, just with that in mind, it's like you got to think, you know, Elysium, you just got to know, like, okay, who do we send to, like, answer these lanes? So right now, we have Victor going back to the bot lane because you'd assume Rise is going to be there. You see Jax right now in the top lane, and Cassandra's going up there to be able to match him. And you're like, okay, this is what the plan is. Keep your laners at bay, and this is what we have to do. Get some more gold, get those items, be ready for those objective fights, because in the next minute 50 seconds we're going to have another dragon fight, because once again Orbit might be on Soul Point if they get it, or if Elysium can play the fight as well as they did the last time, they end up taking away a second Drake, and it even delays the Soul even longer, which is the entire goal. And I mean, if we end up wildly going 3-3, then like we're in for a long run on this one, and we get 2 games of this. That's the best part.
Yes, sir. 2 games and we're locked in and ready to see what can happen here. And then most importantly, recently, Shelly was picked up by K-Pep, so he's got that in the inventory right now. I believe it's just over 30 seconds until that expires, so potentially maybe looking for a play, try and get some gold back in the pocket. Is that gold? It's been within 300, 400 for most of this game, freak, and it doesn't look like it's gonna bounce away anytime soon until that big 5-on-5 team fight that we're just waiting for.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to point out some like items that were coming in as we're here 52 seconds out from the dragon. This is going to be insane, and I'm actually getting hyped just thinking about it. Saya does not have her second item yet, and Varys does. That's actually a huge point for how this next fight could go. She does still have time to back. She has 600 gold, so it won't really get anything out of it, but she needs just a little more time. And oh, okay, I thought something weird was about to happen. But the fact that the item specs are coming in for the side of Orbit and not for Elysium yet is going to play crucial into this next fight. Victor has 2. I mean, he pretty much got spoon-fed all of those kills earlier, so as expected, he should have all the gold. But my goodness, we're just in for a pretty weird and wild time coming in here very shortly. As we know, we're looking to get positioning in the river. We're clearing out vision. I'm going to toggle mine. So there aren't very many red wards on the other side of the jungle naturally, so they kind of don't know where very much of Elysium is. And on the flip side, you know, they don't know. They just got all their vision taken. We have a TP coming in, and we're just waiting. It's tense. We're just waiting to see who's gonna pull the trigger first. And both sides can pull the trigger. That's the thing. We'll just have to like wait and see like who decides to do it first. But the dragon will be started. And oh my goodness, I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Aurora starved the dragon, but it's going to be taken over by Elysium. Ultimate comes out from the Makai. They collapse straight onto the Nautilus. Nautilus already gone. 5v4 going to be engaged. Perma under threat now. Ravens has to run out there because they're being deleted. Wow. It's Elysium just obliterate them in the south side of the river. All out coming through. Boogie styling. Don't blame it on the moonlight. MJ said it best. Blame it on the boogie. Double kill to Cassandra.
That was amazing. And did you see the hostile takeover from Caddy as that fight had started? It was insane. The way that like he popped the hostile takeover and it delayed the rest of the engage from Orbit Gaming, and that's why I love this pick. They got the dragon, they delayed the soul even more. They're getting the Baron because there's no response that can be made, and this just might have blown the game wide open. I think Elysium have the stronger team fight at this point in the game, and it's just like that 1-3-1 strategy is slowly falling apart for Orbit. Wow. I'm just so impressed with the way that fight turned out for the side of Elysium. I know it sounds like I'm dick riding, but I mean, it was that good. I just have to give it to them.
Oh yeah, give it to them. I see what you did there, Freak. Give it to them. 3,000 is that gold lead, my friend. We finally see that gold lead explode just very slightly for the time being in favor of Elysium. They have that Baron now. They've ecoed out the dragons for the game. 2 Infernos going to be on the side of Elysium, and that's going to help with the damage. Plus 6% attack damage or ability power, or if you're really good at the game, it'll be both, and then you go plus 12%. I'm sure that doesn't happen. It's one or the other in this case, but we reached that point where it's now they have to get that macro game on point. K'Sante is in the bot lane here, Freak. They're trying to put more gold into the pockets and extend that gold lead even further as the second tier in the mid lane is going to fall.
I have to say too, as I'm looking at like the scoreboard at the moment, so it's obviously 10-7, 3,000 gold in favor. You know, the Baron just got taken over by Elysium, but I actually just realized we got a TP in the
flash
actually.
Chains of corruption. Goodbye, Renata. Caddy no longer on the rift. As Ravens commits to teleport to that potential pickoff. They already get it, but K'Sante will still pushing in that bot side, gets that wave crashing. But Jax will answer.
Yeah, I gotta admit too, Caddy's been kind of bullied this whole game, and it's kind of sad.
Freak, your job's on the line here, dude. Your job's on the line.
I mean, I'm not flaming.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe. I mean, that's just unlucky. I mean, and I will flame you. You had flash. You should have flashed. I will no longer be, unfortunately, casting Rampage now.
Love it. Love it.
But that's a play that they needed. It stops the Baron push. It takes also a Baron off the map.
Boogie gets locked up. There's 4 versus 1 here. Speaking of Bullion, they're going to pick on Boogie right now. No flash. Remember, he took Ghost. He's trapped in that dragon pit and he will fall. As Orbital, they show a little bit of life. They get 1 Baron off the members, but there's still 4 others to contend with as they return to the mid lane.
Yeah, so that's another Baron taken off, and you'll take that. I mean, that's also a shutdown that went over to the Rise, which actually I think is very crucial to have gone over. And here we are. They're going to try to break this mid lane tower down.
Chains of Corruption's almost up for Legacy here.
Oh, you're right. Oh, there
He
goes.
sends it out and it only lands on Caddy. Who else? Perma. Not enticed by that, and they'll peel back as they get a little bit more objective gold back into their pockets against the Baron push, but they've got Victor in their sights. It's 4 rotate to the top lane.
And they're moving as a unit, and I really like that call. So it's like they're not trying to like individually pick out one person at a time. They're moving as 4 into these spots where they have all this vision. Because like if like we could like toggle the vision over to red vision real quick, we see that the entire river is warded right now. Like there's no blue wards in that area. Well, there's the one, there's the scuttle now, but like other than that, there are no wards on that side of the map for the side of Elysium. So just being there for Boogie and taking that rift scuttle on that much vision kind of gave the hint like, okay, we can get this shut down. Boomity boom boom, we kill him, boom, we get a gold, we can rotate back over, get the tower, and that's how they can start, you know, gaining a little bit of momentum back into this game. I'm not saying they didn't have any, and I think both teams had some pretty even momentum going into this, and oh my goodness, we are 50 seconds out from another dragon fight, and we have to see how this is going to go. This is also full AP Maokai, by the way, which we have not seen in quite a while, that's for sure.
And Leandre is going to be the mythic choice for the Maokai in this one. They're going full on out because K'Sante can buy a lot of time. And Orbit, Aurora, they're going for it. Dredgeline Flash, going to land on the most important target. Of course, it's going to be Caddy. I'm actually joking. Oh, the Victor returns fire. They're collapsing on the north side of the river. There's Boogie's on the threat, but there's another fight on the back of that. As Dilly takes down Varus in the 1v1. Shutdown goes over to K'Sante. Did somebody say Elysium because they just got the ace?
Oh my god, I was not really expecting that. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually insane. And I'm going to comment real quick on something I saw on something I see in chat. I do watch a lot of pro play, actually. I watch the LPL, the LCK, the LCS, even the LEC,
Which is all,
sometimes
baby.
even the Southeast Asian leagues if I can, and even the Japanese league. So I like to think I watch a lot of pro play. I have not seen any of AP Maokai that is happening. AP Maokai is not new. It has actually been quite around for quite a while. So, anyways.
That's free,
if
baby.
If this is meta in one of the other leagues that I don't watch, then fine, I'll take your word for it. But I will back up my crap and I will go ahead and say what I will. Because AP Maokai I only know in my low elo games, that's for sure, because I peaked gold 2.
Okay, Peps right now is unkillable, Markai. Not falling once in this game. The only member of Elysium not to fall right here. And I want to mention again that Caddy lived. He was the first pick. The flash forward from Insanity was great. The Dredgeline followed up, but they picked on the wrong target. That hostile takeover just negated the whole engage. And man, Elysium, they get paid for it. Is again, look at that gold lead. 6,200. It's ballooned even more. 3 Infernals in Soul Point. Elysium are gearing up to take game 1.
I agree, and 6,000 gold up, and just these items are coming in one by one. I'm assuming that's a death cap coming in for the victor next. At this point, you might as well. I mean, you have the advantage. And with the jungler on the other side of the map, they could start it. Okay, they were baiting them, trying to probably pull them over, so I think they were doing it. I get it, though. Okay, and they see them not doing it with the blue ward, so they're not going to foolishly walk into this, I hope. But there is a chance. You never know what happens. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Well, usually I'm a big fan of the Fnatic Deathbrush, but in recent history, Fnatic, yeah, I'm not taking that conversation, Freak. There's a gap there. They're dueling for vision, and this is the most important thing because you cannot face check into this composition that Elysium have. Look at the Victor right now. He's so accelerated. Zonya has to protect him. They're going to start up the Baron here. They're demanding an answer for Orbit. They send the Rise back. He's still got the Realm Walk to get in range here, but they're daring them. Come and face check us. Come and try and negotiate this Baron because it's only going to go to us.
And Legacy Gumiyushi, this is okay. They're TPing in the Rise, but the Armenians in the base. This could be a really cheeky end if they decide to go for it.
Smite is good. Hostile takeover goes out. It picks off Perma, and they will kill the Nautilus. They've got one already. They're on the wrong side of the map as Ravens trying to shield up Perma as best they can. Flash forward from Sev, gets the Siphon, power activate. Laser will connect as well. The chicken's even helping out. I mean, this is so biased that the jungle's even collapsing on them. I've never seen anything like it. But they will get away for now as the base is in shambles. And Elysium, again, they got the Baron.
So far, when you said that Orbit has never lost to Elysium, and looking like that might change here in the next couple of minutes. And that's insane to think about. Just how well they've played this game and just how well they played their comp better into this. I'm gonna big brain it right now and say that I think the game-changing pick was the Renata. Just the way Caddy has played Renata has been absolutely insane. The hostile takeovers have been clean every single time. It delays the rest of the engage. And like, the game was close for the longest time. But now here we are, 31 minutes. There are 3 Infernal Drakes up. They're probably not even going to get this next one because this Baron push should realistically be the end of the game.
It's good.
They have to, like, OG has to engage here.
They're being picked apart. I mean, you need to bide your time. Great ultimate from K-Peps, and now they're going to put the icing on the cake. Perma, the next focus of Elysium, as Ravens jumps in 1v5. He'll be pulled back by the handshake there. Good play by Caddy. Makes Ravens jump away back to the fountain as Ose goes low, and Dilly will get on the board again. 6 kills in the game for the AD carry of Elysium Aces. They're on in that Nexus, but Ravens still waiting. Can't get that counter-strike up. Gets pushed back, but it doesn't matter. Game 1 goes to Elysium Aces as they break that curse.
Wow. And we're just going to casually point out that K-Peps had 18 assists out of the 19 kills. Almost 100% KP. I'm actually going to just do the math for that really quick right now just to kind of get an idea. So let's see. A 94% kill participation, 95 because it's 94.7.
Wow.
But just insane. Just the way. Okay. We're gonna roll it back. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We're gonna dial it back.
Dial it back, baby. Keep it on coming.
So,
we like recycling here in the SCL. We'll dial it back every time.
Yeah, so we're gonna dial it back now. Like, the game, for most of it, was close until these dragons started going in favor of Elysium. Elysium just, honestly, I will be blunt, they gapped the team fights with the way that they had their engage in the Maokai and the Renata. And it just seems like there wasn't really a good avenue for Orbit Gaming to get in there. But I mean, it's not their fault. They did with what they could. And I honestly feel like that maybe Perma didn't try to to accelerate the Jax enough, because Jax didn't really do anything most of that game. I'm going to be completely honest.
2 kill participation, 1 death. Yeah, you could say that you got a strong point there, Freak. Absolutely.
Like it's not his again, it's not his fault. There was some maybe communication things that kind of didn't like happen the way that they should have. But I think in order for them to win that game, they should have accelerated the Jax, abused the Victor. Victor didn't have flash more, and I think it's a different game. But overall, that was a spicy game one, and we get one more, and I'm excited.
Well, Elysium break that tangent that was unwinnable against the Orbit Gaming organization. So far they've taken game one. Remember, guys, it's only 2 games. There's a different perspective in the SCL this season, and it's so exciting because it makes those 2 games even that more important to win. So you can't leave anything to chance. You have to go for it. And the one thing I actually want to talk about before we actually cut to the break and we get ready for this incredible game 2 that we're set so up for, very spicy, is the amount of focus freaking. Maybe they just thought that, hey, we're going to try and send the message, but they focused Caddy so damn much that they forgot about the rest of the team. Daly was that silent partner in that ball lane, 6 kills, only died once in that one. Unkillable, Kipeps, actually can't even read here, but Kipeps, unkillable. 0-0 and 18 was phenomenal on that Maokai. And do you know what? We're kind of getting away from the fact that, you know, Orbit, they were in control of that game for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, there was one bad fight. It didn't look so well. And then Kisanti got involved as well. Boogie just started taking over team fights. Again, this champion is either pick or ban. It has to be pick or ban. And do you put respect on it enough, or do you put another answer? Because the Jax, you want that 1v1, and it just didn't happen in the top lane.
We expected more out of the Jax. I mean, but I think they'll come into this, and I think Orbit will come into game 2 with a different idea. I mean, that's what best of series are all about. You have to adapt. You have to think, okay, what went wrong, what went right, and you mainly attend to those things that went wrong, execute it better in the second game, and then I think we're in for another spicy one in game 2.
Well, whether it went right or wrong, we're about to find out if they correct it in game 2. When we come back, guys, we'll be getting prepared to see this finale between Elysium and Orbit. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, fans. We have got a special for game two. We actually have a debuting caster. Trash, why don't you say hello to the people?
Hey guys, this is my first cast here with SCL, and man, that last game was a banger, so it looks like it's a great time to join up.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
go, dude. Let's go. Let's go. I know, Freak. Seeing a representative of the color department, right? I can only do so much because you know that play-by-play brain just wants to say a million words at once. But this is a man after your own caliber. I mean, this is going to be an excellent breakdown of what's to come in game two. Because game one, if it's anything to go off of a staple, this one's going to be even more exciting. Freak, you're muted, dude. Get that unmuted right now.
Am I? Oh, well, okay. The thing was flashing and it was like, because I thought low-key thought, I was like, I'm waiting for Trash to tell us how he felt about that first game and what he expects. But no, you're asking me. Hi, I'm still here. Game one, absolute banger coming in. It was close for probably the first 20 minutes of the game. Then I lied, actually. It was more like 13, 14 minutes, because that's around the time Victor got his triple kill. So once that happened, that pretty much put the mid lane way out of reach for the Rise. And then once those dragon fights started, just Elysium just had the better team fight mechanic. And Caddy, once again, on that Renata is just such a good champion for engage and disengage and for dissuasion as well. So once she ulted, OGR couldn't. I'm reading their things, but OGA actually is what they are. They're Orbit Gaming Aurora for those of you who's playing at home. Just they could not fight once that Renata ult was out, and it gave them the rest of the damage that they needed to be able to clean up those fights. And Victor just did Victor things as he does when he has 2.5 items. Just insane. I'm expecting either something as great or if not better than that first game out of both of these teams.
Well, as we get prepared to go into draft here, I do want to raise one point, and I'll start with you, Trash. We'll kind of get your thoughts on that. You've seen how that game one went. And then that very early game on the side of Orbit Gaming Aurora, right? We had such plays coming through from Perma, looking to make things happen. And Perma has been an individual that has actually come back. So he's made a comeback into competitive amateur play. And he's debuting back on the Orbit Gaming Aurora in the SCL split. I could say the debuting is only in this league because I'm not too sure about any of the rest, but making that kind of comeback and having that early to mid game, which was really efficient, honestly, as we go into draft here. But can you get your thoughts again, Trash? Is what do you expect to see more out of this jungler? Because he was very busy in that early game.
I'm looking for him to try and put a lot more pressure into that early game again. Because, I mean, think about it. Even though they lost, that early game really looked like it was going their way for quite a while. So if he comes back and he's able to get that pressure at the start, but also keep it going throughout the entirety of the game, I think they have a great shot to actually come back and win this next match.
Well, Freak, we'll see if they can do that. I mean, we're flying through again. Both of these teams have done their homework. They know exactly what they're going to go with. And the first picking of the Sejani kind of gives you an insight into the staple and what they want to do with this champion.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go through the bans right quick. So nothing has changed except the Udyr and the Maokai bans. Those are the two new bans coming up for this series. So we don't got to talk about the any ones at all. But this shows that, like, Elysium, we don't want them to have Maokai after what I just did to them. And on the other side, Orbit's thinking, probably should not give them Udyr. But oh my goodness, the Sejuani is the first pick. You know, it kind of shows they're going all in for this engage. Amumu is on the opposite end. Now, this is a flex pick. Keep that in mind. This could be a Amumu support, Mumu jungle, or even wildly, as I have heard, a Mumu top. Very unlikely, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I want to see that. I want to see that. Give me a Mumu top. I'll take that every day of the week. But a Mumu Ashe, that's such a devastating combo.
Right
and
there.
Look, if this is to be an AD carry, Trash, in the Ashe, remember the Ashe can be potentially flexed as well. We've seen a lot of, that Imperial Mandate, the ARAM Ashe, as people like to call it, has been taking refuge on the Rift because it's such a really obnoxious pick. You get that ultimate, and Sharon Cristaro done it about, just over 30 seconds. Every time that's off a cooldown, it's going to go down. And what do you pick into that? Sivers are not a bad pick here with that spell shield built in already.
Yeah, I actually want to get your thoughts on this so far, Trash. So I'm gonna let you take the wheel for a second and let him hint to me what you're seeing so far at this first part of the draft.
So far, honestly, in my opinion, I love the picks on both sides. But for Ashe, you get a lot of vision control through her Hawk Shot. Plus, you have the cross-map ultimates, and it can work really well with an Amumu to set up team fighting. At the same time, on the other side, you have Sejuani, a great team fighting champion, especially when you pair her with a Sivir and an Alistar. I mean, the late game team fighting looks like it's going to be crazy for both teams. And if they both keep going into that, we could have a really, really fun game here.
I definitely agree with you on that one. Now, one thing we forgot to keep in mind is that Ashe is a flex pick.
It's true.
I
That is
something.
true. Oh!
Mumu most likely in the jungle, followed by Ashe support and Caitlyn ADC. Woo!
I'm not gonna lie.
Finally getting it in amateur play. We're finally getting the ADC in the support role. We finally have it. The Ashe support coming in, which is great for utility, slows. The ulting from a million miles across the map can set up plays from anywhere. It's just, I also blame T1 for bringing this in, because God bless you, Carria, for doing this. And now, Ashe support is not new. It has been done for quite a while now. It's just picked up back in Resurgence. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, here we are, second phase of the bans. What you seeing, Trash? What are you seeing here in the second phase of bans?
Well, honestly, the second phase of bans, it seems... I kind of like it, right? You get rid of the Caitlyn, that makes it harder for him to dive onto your... I mean, you get rid of the... not the Caitlyn, the Silas, and the person whose name I can't think of right now. It makes it harder for him to dive onto your Caitlyn and take her down, right? And on the other side, you're getting rid of the Jax and the Olaf. So they're trying to protect their top lane. In my eyes, that means they might be looking towards a tank top lane who can't really handle playing against something like a Jax. Maybe a... Oh, I'm completely wrong! They sent it down for Fiora! Okay, I get it.
Fiora!
I get it.
Let's go!
Right?
I love that champion.
Give us it. It's always banned away. We never get to see this champion ever. And the fact that it's on the Rift right now, so I dare you, Orbit, pick the K'Sante into the Fiora. Let's see that skill matchup. Let's see who comes out on top here. But what are we expecting, guys, coming out from Orbit? They've got 1 second. Predict it quick. Gwen. There I go, baby. I'm the color caster. I'm the color caster.
Oh my goodness.
Gwen goes hard.
But this is a harder skill matchup because Gwen can just, immune literally everything. Now, I know we might be thinking, why would you pick Gwen into Fiora? I kind of understand. That kind of tells me that there is a potential for an AD mid, whether that's Talon's or Aurelia. We'll just have to wait and see what they decide. Or they're just going to ruin my dreams and pick Victor. Oh, I wanted an AD mid laner so bad for this comp. But it's fine. It's fine. So they only have one source of AD damage on the side of Orbit Gaming, and that is the Sivir. And as we know, the meme, Sivir needs 9 million CS before she can even become relevant. So this is going to be a very long game.
Infinity Edge, and then we're good to go, freak.
Cassiopeia. If they lock it in, okay. Oh my God, there's a lot of damage on this team. Sevis playing Cass.
They want to blow everyone up over there. Dear God.
Oh,
by God, GR, by God. He said it best in the WWE. I can't do it as good, but by God, the Cassio going to be locked in. The miasma, the petrifying gaze. We're going to see that snake gameplay. But one thing's for certain, freak. Let me let you in on a little secret. She does not build boots.
Nope. Does not build the boots. Therefore, she will not need that and can build some extra damage because Cassiopeia is a really stupid champion. Now, we flash back. Let's look. Let's analyze we're going to analyze the comps real quick. Just me and you, Trash. Let's do this. Let's analyze these comps for a second.
All right.
So I will take Elysium and you take Orbit. So let's start with Elysium first. So we have Fiora in the top lane, Amumu jungle, Cassiopeia, then Caitlyn Ashe here in the bot lane. That's a lot of damage and even a lot of utility coming out from the Ashe and the Amumu as well. The miasma can prevent them from Orbit from literally doing anything if they land it right. The petrifying gaze, again, just the scaling that's coming into Cassiopeia is insane. And if she gets ahead, this game is over before it even starts. Now, what does this mean for them in terms of executing this comp? I'm expecting definitely some jungle presence in the mid lane. Fiora will be able to hold her own because that's just what she can do. That champion Fiora is one of my favorite top laners in the game. Being able to like juggle those vitals and just being able to like know like when the good times to go in are, maxing out the parry and knowing when to parry the abilities, because you can parry the Sejuani stun, the Sejuani ult, you can the headbutt, the stun on Victor, and you can just kind of bait the enemy team into these situations and kind of just take over the fight. I watched it happen earlier today. Like Fudge literally popped off on Fiora earlier today, and it was absolutely gross. Is it gonna be the same exact thing? No, but my man could probably probably channel his inner Fudge and do the same thing. Now, what are we gonna see on the side of Orbit Gaming Aurora?
So, I just want to start off with, it looks like they want to go for some late game team fighting, which I personally love. Right, I feel like with the earlier game comps, there's a lot more pressure to get things done quick, right? Push it out because you have to win early with those comps, or you're going to struggle later on, right? Yeah. But with Orbit's comp, we've got the Sivir, the Gwen, the Victor. So much late game power coming out of those three champions. The amount of damage that a late game Sivir, Gwen, Victor combo is going to do is absolutely disgusting. And to top that off, you have Alistar and Sejuani for peel and engage. So honestly, I think Orbit's got the easier comp to execute by far, just because they have just basic front to back team fighting. As long as they make it through the early stages of the game, which is going to be hard when you look over at the other side at what Elysium's bringing into the table, right? Because Elysium wants to come in, they want to punch you in the face and take you out quick. But Orbit's over here thinking, hey, all we got to do, play smart, get through laning phase, don't give up too much, don't give up too much gold, and make it to the end game. And if we make it to the end game, it's just over with our comp. We got the Sejuani ult coming in, and then you've got Sivir, Gwen, and Victor just blowing up anybody in the area.
I like it. I like it. I love it so far. And Trash, I'm just going to say, as we're nearing the end of draft, you're doing a great job so far, and I'm excited for you and I to go back. What about me, dude?
Come on, guys. Like, what's this romanticizing in front of the play-by-play? Doesn't the play-by-play matter anymore? I'm going to hit you with my thoughts because, like Alistar, I've got an unbreakable will, baby. I can get all that CC off me. The colors, they can keep hitting me with it, but I'm still going to give you my thoughts. Here's my thoughts right now. I like the Gwen pick. I think the Gwen Fiora is going to be explosive. I think the Cassio is going to take over the game. Unfortunately, because Cassio is so hard to deal with. The miasma just makes it impossible. You think, why is my buttons not working? It's because you're standing on the miasma right now. And if that's the case, Cassiopeia can take over the game. It gives an insurgency with that, with the Amumu, the Ashe, the Caitlyn, the amount of pick potential that's on Elysium's game. But I want to come back to Aurora because this team composition, it's been a while since I've seen that Unbreakable Will in action. The cow coming back. Hopefully it's ringing the cowbell because I love that skin. I think if you choose any other skin than that, you're trolling. Don't want to see it, and then you're ultimately going to lose. But this one is shaped up, fellas. Look, the Victor's got the scaling. The Sivir has that scaling as well. So the problem for me is you got that scaling factor. The Cassio is very relentless in that early game. Once she gets her mana items on board, and those skills keep coming out. So where does this Sejuani go? Because you have to make this champion work in the early game. This champion is designed to lock them down, get your lanes ahead, and then try and snowball the game from there.
Indeed, I really hope like that here on Perma, he makes a lot of focus out in the mid lane particularly, because you want to keep that Cassiopeia down and make sure Victor can be able to 1v1 her. I mean, let's be real, Cassiopeia has the better advantage with the Twin Fangs. She pretty much just kills anyone, and I think it even does % health damage if I am correct. I'll have to look into that when we get into game. I think I'm wrong. But either way, it's just like, you have to know what's going to happen in this mid lane. Cassiopeia, like we mentioned, won't build boots, so she won't get any faster as the game goes on. But just you have to do the same thing that you did in game one: burn the flash early, and then abuse the fact that that he is that doesn't have that flash. And I'm just gonna casually say, yes, Romeo, I am taken. My fiance is in the other room.
They're all taken. We're all taken. That's the pinnacle of talent that we have in the SCL, that the Chica's going to lock us down, just like whoever's going to lock this one down, fellas. Just before we cut to the break, let's get some predictions going. Trash, let's start with you. Who is going to take this game? We're going to see a 2-0, or is it going to end 1-1 here?
Here's what I'm saying. This is interesting, right? Because last game, OGR, I felt like they had the way stronger, early game. I felt like they were a lot better in the early game than Eli was. So the fact that Eli went with the early game comp kind of makes me feel like, I I kind of want to give it to Eli because I don't know if OGR can function in the late game, considering how they did the last match. But we're gonna have to see. What do you think, Freaks?
Freak, tell us who's going to win this game.
This is going to be a very interesting one. I think just like last game, it's going to come down to the mid lane again. Unless this Fjord can just somehow magically take over this game, but I think Elysium might take this game. Unless the game goes late enough, then Orbit Gaming takes the game. It's just to me, it's like if the game goes too late, Orbit wins. If not, then Elysium wins. But I'm going with Elysium for this game.
Right after this break, Elysium Aces, Orbit Gaming Aurora, Game 2, coming at you. Don't go anywhere. Elysium Aces, Orbit Gaming Aurora. The finale is here for week 1 in the Hex Tech League. And a big shout out to all the fans that are tuning in tonight for this special occasion. The SCL keeps rolling around, Freak and Trash. Of course, if anybody missed it and you're just tuning in right now, we got a first in the SCL. It's going to be a TriCast. My boy Freak and of course Trash going to make his debut here. He had some really good insight into that pre-game in the drafting phase there. And what do we expect here, Trash, going into this early game? You can see that 5-point stance coming through from both of the teams here.
Looks like both teams are just going to go with a standard start off here, which I like to see. Neither team's taking any risks. They don't need to. There's no real point. You can, but it's a little risky. I think on the side of Eli, it's going to be about pushing the game forward and picking up the pace of the game. The hard part is predicting where the jungler's going to want to go, right? I personally am a jungle main, so my brain kind of tells me that I feel like mid lane's the easiest lane to get a gank off on, basically because Cass or Victor, neither of them are very strong or have great escape options early. But I'd like to hear what do you think, Freak? What do you think?
So what's very interesting is we're seeing Sejuani is actually going leashless, but however, kind of like pulling through like a little bit of a ruse, because Fiora did not walk to lane immediately, and obviously the bot lane didn't either. But it's kind of like to draw the idea that maybe they don't know where Amumu is starting, and you know neither of the AD carries use any mana either, so they're probably going to be a little wary of like, okay, where is this going? And wow, we immediately got ahead, but a lot of really trading happening in the bot lane as Legacy is brought down. But as I was going to say is, the two junglers here, you know, they started on the same sides of the map. They're going to go towards that top side, and this is probably really interesting. Unless Sejuani will bait me here and go down to the Krugs and then make a play here bot lane as Legacy is low. Oh my goodness. That's the power of that double AD carry bot lane, baby. Maybe T1 was onto something when they started doing it. I got to give it to them. They aren't one of the best teams in the world for a reason, and Fiora getting a little advantage here. The Vital is not going to be in a spot where she can take it. She will see the Sejuani and know she's here. Really good use of the Hawk shot there. And I mean, we will now go to the Raptors, clears Raptors, and now has a tempo advantage. And what is Sejuani doing? She's kind of, what is she doing? Wait. All right. So in your mind, Trash, you do say you're the jungler. Like, what is the plan here? Never mind. We're actually getting ready to fight here.
She's going for a fight.
Sejuani is here. Parama Caddy in trouble. Burning with Ignite. One more should do it. The cow gets on the board. Alistair actually claims that kill, and Sani secures first blood in the bot lane.
That heal was actually, so on the one hand, yeah, it sucks. Caddy dies. You know, I'm noticing a trend here. Caddy, you die a lot. Stop that. And anyways, beams aside, and oh my goodness, the good headbutt coming in, and what is the relax. With the direct to camera, go back to the top lane. It looks like Gwen is going to get out of that little sticky situation because Amumu walked on a ward. But I was getting ready to say that you actually take that if Alistair gets the kill, which is why that heal was actually really good at preventing Sivir from getting that first blood. The champion who wants that kill, who wants all the gold to be able to take over this game and be that hyper carry that she can be when she gets ahead. So that only puts her like 200 gold up over the Caitlyn. You're okay with that, you know. Caitlyn also started with longsword with her, so like they're gonna kind of speed run towards their items, but just really good gank timing. Like they saw the Sejuani, so I think the assumption there was like, nah, she won't be here. Well, the plot twist, she ended up being there. They just died, so unlucky. But now we'll calm down a little bit, because I was getting ready to ask you like what is your thought process of her still being down here, and then you kind of called it she was looking for a fight, and that's exactly what happened. Went for the fight. Now she's on the back foot of the Amumu right now. Are you like gonna try to keep power farming and try to catch up, or are you gonna kind of continue to make plays around the map?
Right. So you're a Sejuani, and in my opinion, you can power farm if you really want to. But your job's more to get everyone around you ahead and stay close enough that you're able to be tanky later on. So you don't have to worry too much about being down on the Amumu. And it looks like she thought the same thing. She wrapped around for a gank towards topside, but they had vision, so she's just backing. With the bot side play, I think the move there was right, but vision came up over from the Ashe, so she sat there for a second with the thought of, hey, if I don't show up again immediately, they're going to assume I'm just backing because they had vision on me. But instead, then they disrespected her by walking up, and she just walked in with a free punish.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Lom, I'm gonna bring you in for a second here.
That's me, baby.
Like, what are you expecting out of like these objectives that are slowly coming up? We have Dragon up right now, Rift Herald in a couple of minutes. Where would you want this focus to go? Because me personally, I would kind of expect a lot of bot lane focus. It means these dragons should be going over a lot quicker, or if not as fast as they did in the last game.
I definitely agree with that because Dilly and Caddy, they have that obnoxious push that comes with picking the Ashe support, right? You can throw those volleys out every time, albeit that CDR reduction is not with the Ashe this early on in the game. It's still very annoying to deal with, and you'll have that triumphant roar coming from the Alistar to sustain through that, but it doesn't take away the fact that you can control that lane, and once it comes round to the Dragon timers, you want to call down the jungler there. You say, hey, K-Peps, we got the push down here as you see Caddy walking forward, and Alistar can't do anything about this because they don't know where the mummy is right now.
Definitely. 6 minutes in the game here. Gold is even. We're starting to trend exactly like we did last game, where it's like, you know, gold lead doesn't exist for the first little bit of the game here. Sejuani is on the bot side, so we expect her to make the same play. There is no flash on the Ashe, so they could make a play, but
Gwen is immune, but not inside the bubble. Fiora, Caddy looking in trouble in the bot side. He's burning and will walk away.
No way,
the Ashe lives with 50 HP, but they've got priority on the Dragon. The bot lane is going the opposite ways. That pendulum keeps swinging here, Freak.
Oh yeah, so far just completely out of the water. But I mean, the flip side is Fiora is getting an advantage and a huge CS lead. So no TP for the Gwen means she will lose all of this, and just absolutely nuts. Just like what's going on at the moment. Just so much jungle pressure coming in from K-Peps. Just that's gotta be tilting to like think about it. It's like, okay, like they're focusing us quite a lot here. Ooh, that recall actually got stopped, but it's a Cloud Drake. You're okay with that. 2 plates also went down in the top lane as a trade as a result of all that play in the end. And this Fiora, 900 gold up.
Woo. Yeah, I mean, that's what Eli needs to see. They need to get those advantages if they want to make it through this game, right? A 1.5k gold lead at 7 minutes is huge, but they have to keep that going because having a 1.5k gold lead at 16 minutes against a comp like this isn't the same. So what we need to see is...
Look at the map right now. Ravens is back in trouble. That Imperious top laner again going to be ganked here. No summoners or flash even available. Took the teleport ignite. So as to see Perma a little late to the party, and we'll watch the top laner fall right in front of him as Amumu claims that one. It doesn't go over to Boogie, but still that snowball is rolling in the top side as again the Gwen is going to miss out on a lot of gold and XP here, Trash.
Not letting them slow that game down at all. They're doing exactly what they need to do. Keeping that pressure on, pedal to the metal, and getting this Fiora ahead by a mile. I mean, I thought we were going to breathe for a few seconds, but that man straight for a fight, and it looks like another.
Flash pulverize onto Seth. He's used to this pressure as the Chaos Storm comes out. And the Ghost will be activated from the mid laner on Elysium Aces as Caddy is now shadowing. Both of the supports making that roam up to the mid lane, and nothing going to happen just as of yet.
No, not at the moment. No, not right now. It's just I one thing we completely glossed over to what has been happening is Gwen does not have flash. She took TP Ignite, which I say for every single time it happens. Top laner. Oh, never mind.
Glacial Prison, Laser, Siphon, Power. That's OC for Orbit Gaming Aurora in the mid lane. A kill goes over to the victor.
It was actually a really clean ult, I'm not gonna lie. That Sejuani ult was absolutely clean. She hits 6, immediately goes mid, pops the ult on the Cassiopeia, and this is what I'm talking about. When she has no flash, keep hitting her. You gotta keep hitting her and keep her down. So now that CS lead is kind of moot at the moment, Victor is up over 100 gold. I'm actually very, 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 very impressed. I said very like 9 times there, but like I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
You're impressed. It's okay to be impressed. As that hawk shot goes out. So intelligence coming through from the support on Elysium. Caddy sending those out on cooldown here, Trash. It's such a key component to the Ashes kit. And really it goes overlooked sometimes because if you hit that hawk shot, most of the time, you're going to gain a lot of information if it's going in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
you hawkshot correctly, you are the bane of a jungler's existence. Their jungle doesn't exist if you know where they are at every moment, and you can almost do that if you get good hawkshots off a lot. So people sleep on how effective her vision is in the game, but it's probably, in my opinion, the most powerful part of her kit to always know where the enemy jungler is.
I definitely agree with you on that one. TP up here to the top lane for the Fiora. She had a lot of gold. Looks like she's going for that Triforce first item. I mean, I would. You got 2 plates up in the top lane. You're so superbly far ahead. Victor has no flash here in the mid lane, so this could be a pretty spicy play. Caddy is not 6 yet, so they can't really layer all of that CC on him at once. But they're trying to force him to push, but I think he sniffs this out. He's aware something funky is going on. I think Caddy started the Rift Herald, didn't he? Not, or was he clearing vision? Oh no, Caddy kind of started the Rift Herald. Will spot out the Sejuani here. Or not.
Caddy getting ganked there from Shelly. Shelly comes back out, but will call to the aid of K-Peps, and that aid is going to be confirmed, so they will start up Shelly here. And why not? Boogie is in full control of that top lane. Gwen can't really take that 1v1 anymore, and that's got to feel bad here, Freak. You take the teleport ignite, and there's no chance of that 1v1 now, and this Fiora just scales insanely good.
I think you take this Rift Herald top, honestly. The tower has 3 plates left. You might as well just send all 3 people up here and just break open this tower, but they're going to opt out of that. Uma's going to go back, get his red buff. I think he might be close to level 9. Oh, never mind. He just ticked over to level 8. Just kidding. We're not going to worry about that. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Caitlyn has been left alone CSing. She's kind of let the wave neutralize itself and before letting it come to tower, but they could dive her as they are looking for it. I'm looking at the bot lane at the moment, but I don't think really much is going to come out of it. Alistair is 6 and Caddy is not, which could be a pretty crucial point. I think let's see how close Caddy is. Caddy is not even 25% of the way to level 6 yet. So all of these roams are being pretty costly, I will admit. Rift Herald will be dropped in the mid lane. And here we go. So momentum, and we're on that fight, I think.
Pincer activated. K-Peps knows. Oh, the selection is correct from Perma. Does get a flash out of the Cassiopeia, but follow-ups up on Namumu. Running away. Tears are falling down Namumu's face, and you can see why. As Victor picks him off 4 strong in the mid lane from Orbit, and they make Elysium pay for that.
I love how that ult was not even intended for. Oh, we're not done,
Ravens.
actually.
Gwen is immune troll face until Boogie is in the picture. Grand challenge was activated, and the challenge gonna be accepted. Fiora picks up the solo kill.
I got nothing. She's just strong, but take it away, trash.
She's throwing down the gauntlet in the top lane. Oh my god. The rest of the game state looks like it's kind of going the way of OGR. Then you look at the top, and it's just a slam dunk up there. She's not even trying up there, and it looks beautiful. It's exactly what this team needs if they want to win this game.
Caddy needs to hit 6 here in order for this bot lane to kind of be, I don't want to say like swing in the favor of them, but I think more viable is what I'm looking for. They want that ulti to be able to send out those cross map arrows, set up those long extended plays, especially because as we all know, the further the Ashe arrow goes, the longer the stun. And you want that. And Caddy does take over to 6 finally. Sejuani is here again, dude.
Great Oracle actually from Alistair. He makes sure that Sejuani can go unnoticed. There is Seth getting paid in that mid lane. Look at that mid lane turret right now. That's a lot of gold going over to the Cassiopeia. But going back to the point here, so this is only a good scenario for Elysium if they opt into that 1-3-1 here, Free, because if you don't opt into that, this advantage that Boogie has in a 5-on-5 team fight when you got Sejuani, a Victor, and an Alistair, it doesn't really bode well in that kind of skirmish.
And I have played a lot of Fiora. She does good-ish in the team fight, but she excels in the 1v1 with being able to proc those vitals, trigger them to here anywhere else, and to get that really quick Q reset. So all in all, Fiora is going to want to be left alone. A cross-map arrow.
Oh, it lands Caddy on the money. Sets up Sev, Miasma, Twin Fang, resets happening. Aussie goes down in the mid lane.
Very first arrow mid. Trash, is that what you were expecting?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting a first arrow to be that explosive, that far, but it's beautiful, my man. That is exactly why Ashe support is disgusting. For cross-map ults, especially from supports who spend way more time paying attention to the wave states of lanes outside of their own, because they have to watch the whole map, right? So, the Ashe just goes hard, but it looks like we're getting another little fight down here.
K-Pevs will find Alistair camouflaged in that brush. How good is your camouflage? You're a big ass cow, and he's getting focused right now. Gets the unbreakable wall out. Teleport comes in from Osi. Cursey, the sad mummy, was great for a disengage as K-Peps gets Dilly to safety.
Yeah, I think the play there was to just save the bot lane, force them off, and maybe try to get a kill in return, and that would have given them first tower there in the bot lane.
Oh, baby, it's so close. Caddy, this is what we're talking about, guys, because when that cooldown reduction comes in, even though it's only the boost, the Ionian boots of Lucidity going to be completed for Caddy, this ultimate now is just over a minute, and every single time it's up, Caddy is looking for that pick.
Would too. There was a friend of mine who was learning League one time, and they were playing Ashe, and
really?
I told them, just every time your ult is up, just send it. That is the exact. I just said, just send it. That's
just
all
send
you
it, baby.
Don't do anything else.
Full send. Wow. Full send, eh? We're going Canadian on the desk. We're going full send. And Dilly lives with a slithery health. The Caitlyn walks away, limps away. You couldn't say walk. 20 health was the difference in falling there, as Dilly still remains untouched in this game so far. And you can see, look at that top lane CS difference. It's almost double up there for Boogie.
Oh my goodness. Now Sivir should get first tower here unless... Okay, so Cassiopeia is backing. She will not get first tower. First tower might not. Looks like Sivir is backing off. She doesn't know where anyone is, so I actually respect the call there. Fiora should... Okay, I thought she was going to greed for the tower. I think she has Demolish here. Let me just verify that right quick. Yeah, she has Demolish. Probably could have gone for that whole tower, but respecting the fact that she did not know where the rest of the team is. Blue tower... Sorry... OG does get the tower there in the end through the minions, but no one was. It was a blue tower. So it's kind of moot. Well, God bless America. Either way, no one was around for the local gold, so it doesn't even matter anyways.
Dial it back, baby. Dial it back. You got it. You got it.
Dial it back.
40 seconds on that next dragon here. 2 dragons already over the side of Orbit Gaming Aurora, as they're looking to claim that soul point. Caddy just fearless of the Sejani. Dare it and throw that glacial prison on me. I don't care. You can see that Caddy was a catalyst for attention in that first game here, Trash. And obviously they're sending Caddy out as just a bait. Try and engage and use everything onto the Ashe, because we're going to follow up and potentially kill you.
Let's see what they're trying to do. Interesting. Oh, we're going to get a fight, actually.
Versus Mummy, going to be re-engaged by the headbutt. Pulverize, good combination come through there, but K-Pep's going to be deleted by the Gwen. And Needlewalk comes out. Boogie flashes to safety, but the Alistair will fall, dying to the poison from Cassio. The snake, what type of snake is going to be here? I can tell you it's very potent as they disengage. Again, Dilly so low on the health department, but they don't have the vision, but they've got a big Sejani. They got a boar to face check it. Caddy in trouble, gets run over by the boar, and now they will secure the vision and potentially that dragon soul point.
Oh my goodness, this puts them in a really awkward position now, because they have to fight every Drake from here on out. Different story compared to last game. Even though OG is down 3k gold, they still took that fight. Midland Tower will call it in response, but just... I also think the fight was a little split there. Wouldn't you agree, Trash? It seemed a little split to me.
We're very organized. Which is good for OGR, because if that team's not organized, it means they're going to have a lot harder time getting onto your high damage carries in the back, right? So, if you want to blow up through this team, you kind of need to either have a good angle, or you're not really great flankers, hit them head on. Plus, you don't have Fiora. Like, you have a big gold lead, but a lot of that gold is sitting on your Fiora, who's not really able to do much for you in that situation. And now, we're going straight up top, right under the Herald on spawn. They're trying to keep this gold lead going, but honestly, the gold lead's not as big as you would think anymore when you take into account the fact that you got 3 Drakes. You're getting ready to have an Infernal Soul on a Sivir, Victor, Gwen. I mean, even though Gwen's so far behind with an Infernal Soul, you're gonna do so much damage. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. She has the Oblivion Orb also to cut some of that healing that the Fiora and the Cassiopeia, fun fact, have. Cassiopeia does have some, I guess it's Omnivamp now, but it's built into her kit off the Twin Fangs. So that was actually going to prove useful for as the game goes on when she finishes that Morello. Or maybe she might not finish the Morello at all and just use it just to cut some of the healing that's on this side. Now, on the other side, you know, for Orbit Gaming, as we mentioned, all they have to do is kind of just wait, play and wait. So like 20 more minutes and this game is theirs, just like I mentioned. Actually, I'm going to throw it out there, maybe say like more like 10, 15 minutes. Because Sivir only needs 2 more items and she will be absolutely gross. She might be a 004, but that don't matter. When Sivir hits those item points, that's all she needs, and just those boomerangs will just deal so much damage. Like right now, you see kind of peeling through those minion waves. And just wait till it starts peeling through champions later on.
Yeah.
Victor here, kind of just chilling in the wings. Okay, they're just gonna pushing. I thought they were getting ready to fight, but never mind. I doubt Victor was the 1v1. We have a long-range arrow that will miss, unfortunately.
Yeah. OC seen that one coming there. Didn't want to stick around in case that hit. But Sev will be able to get damage onto this turret. Going to be backed up by the top laner there. Interestingly enough, that they rotate the Fiora down here to get this. Potentially good macro coming out as the riposte will deny that laser damage from OC, but he will be able to eat up this wave as the Fiora is now back in, and she is the one with Shelly. So decision making has to be made as K-Pep's going to answer the Gwen push up there. And this is going to be a lull that definitely favors Ravens. Been under the cost quite a lot in this game thus far here, Freak, and now a little bit of breathing room for the top laner.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of breathing room. I mean, you know, when she's not facing that Fiora, she's actually going to be okay. But here we are in the mid lane, 3 strong here. Not really very much damage. Okay, the Caitlyn is there, so they will not actually try to force this tower down. I think next Dragon, they try to force the mid lane tower down to kind of have the minions go into like a weird spot where it forces Elysium to have to go in there. But, I mean, I'm looking at the items as we're going on. Sev is absolutely gross right now with his 2 items in the Leandries. The Seraph's Embrace is fully upgraded. It's still called Seraph's Embrace. Okay, just checking. And no one else has a second item at the moment, so the big strong point is Sev at the moment on this Cassiopeia. You know, just solo farming away in the bot lane, 50 CS up. Victor just now getting his Hex Tech alternator at the moment. So it's like he needs a little more time to catch up to this cast. And if I check over their gold lead, he's almost down 2K to the cast. Wow. Okay. Wow. Trash. While I gather my thoughts, just go ahead and kind of like what you're expecting in this. We have 1 minute to the dragon. Like, what are you doing here as a jungler?
As a jungler right now, so it depends on which side, right? If you're on the side of OGR, you're trying to play Forvis Drake, right? You can afford to give it up because you're on soul point and the enemy team doesn't gain as much if they take this as you do. But obviously, if you take this, that makes the gold lead almost nothing once you have an Infernal Soul on top of a comp like this. I like the use of the Herald topside. It puts a lot of pressure on the team because you have to respond to a Herald or it's going to decimate your base. So Gwen can't rotate off to help her team.
Ravens in trouble here. The challenge again goes out. The need to work goes out as well, but Boogie is the only one dancing all over top lane. Lives with a slither of health, but the dragon going to be up, and they pulled Perma away from this, and Channel Crystal Arrow will sail on by and get absolutely nothing from Caddy as the Fiora gets out, pushes the pressure, forces this to Jani, and now Elysium in full control of that bot lane river.
Okay, I gotta stop right there for a second. They should have known that Sejuani was maybe roaming over there. That would have been the time to take the dragon and just blow it up. But in this case, I mean, they opt not to. They TP in the Fiora. This should be their dragon. It's a 5v4 for the next like 7 seconds. Gwen has TP too, but I think they just get this. Okay, so we're solely on track to where we were in the last game, where Elysium started taking these dragons away again. It's getting those little advantages, but I mean, just Boogie just doing what he does best and playing Fiora. That's the best way to describe it.
Are we watching Boogie or are we watching Zeus right now with this top lane Fiora?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Teams take a Herald and use it correctly. Use it to force a team to respond to you and give up another objective somewhere else at the same time. Because if you don't stop that duo over there pushing your top side, a Fiora with a Herald is going to absolutely decimate your base. But at the same time, it's kind of on Ravens for not seeing what was happening and knowing to fall back, but she couldn't stand under that tower because it was going to explode. And Ravens dying there kind of costs the team that Drake fight, possibly.
25 minutes into this game, Elysium do have that 5,000. That's right, 5,000 gold lead for the Elysium organization in this one. Dilly and Caddy kind of going silent for the majority of this game. All that spotlight is on Boogie and where K-Peps can be, and of course Sev going to continue to scale here. Actually just completed, well, I guess he did a little bit ago, probably a couple minutes ago, that Seraph's Embrace fully upgraded now for the Cassiopeia. So those Twin Fang resets, they come back and put more mana in your pocket here, Freak. It's so good in the Cassiopeia, and when you can play this champion to a T, which it is right now, Sev is having a great time out there on Summoner's Rift.
Oh yeah, so for a moment we got baited. We thought they were going to go for the Baron, but I think the play there was just get the scuttle, get some vision around, so that way they can't try to sneak it away. Granted, they can't. Well, no, I was going to say they can't do it best, but I'm completely wrong. They have a Gwen on their side, so they could realistically do it pretty quickly. They have a lot of damage with her, you know, doing snipping away, and Sivir now has her Infinity Edge, while Caitlyn does not. Those 4 assists coming in handy. Well, you just see what it's doing to the backline of the minions there, just blowing up that wave. And this is the part you worry about. She just needs one more item, whether that's the Lord Dominic's Regards, Phantom Dancer, or I would even argue as far as Hex Drinker, you know, to not get blown up by the Cassiopeia as quickly. She just needs one more item, and then, like, there's honestly just nothing they can really do. They have to try to get to the Sivir every time. You have to have Fiora or Cassiopeia just get the drop on her and just instantly kill her. And I'm looking at the CS, oh my goodness, so we're 26.5 minutes and 246 CS on the side of... Oh! Okay, never mind, spell shield.
Ooh.
And breathe.
Okay. Alright.
We paid a lot of attention to the Fiora and the cast, but you're completely right. Sivir is over here the dark horse. Not a lot of kills, not showing off a ton, but she's ahead in gold, up almost 40 CS. She's up assists, so she's actually going to be really, really strong for this team in team fights. Especially when she's got the Victor backing her up with his damage and the Sejuani to shield her from getting dived onto. Makes these team fights a lot harder for Eli to navigate in order to get... Oh! We're going right back into it here.
With Legacy, Ace Hole gets body blocked by Insanity. He will be that big front line. Unbreakable Will going to be Papa's Boogie. Goes under 5% health. He will surely fall here. They get the Fiora, but they're turning it back around. Orbit Gaming Aurora. Ravens has arrived, but K-Peps will get the damage back off onto the Sejani. Opposition. Jungler will fall re-engage with the Bandage Toss. Remember, there's 2 of that since the rework of a Mumu, especially his Q, but they will disengage. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Orbit Gaming. No, actually, I tell a lie. 2 are dead on the side of Orbit. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Elysium. The Baron going to be started here. No, it's not. I get debated twice.
Yeah, I was going to say their AD carries are low here, so I wouldn't really anticipate they'd do this. And I think you want Fiora to have it to, like, fully, like, goodness gracious, what am I trying to say? You want her to be able to, like, fully engage that 4-1 or 1-3-1 that they want to do. But man, that fight was kind of dicey, I'm not gonna lie. We have a dragon in 45 seconds, and that could mean this could get even more dicey for us. Oh god, so, like, here we are, 37 seconds. 6k gold separates each team. Even though it seems like it doesn't matter, those 3 dragons are definitely adding. And it's just... We're in for a banger here. You know, they're going to get dragon presents. Not
100 viewers on the SCL, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to interrupt you, Freak. That's an achievement in itself. Let's go, baby. Sath, you better get those skins rolling out, dog. You promised the community. Freak, I'll let you finish your point.
There's really not much of a point now, as we're 8 seconds before this dragon comes up, and river control is completely on the side of Orbit Gaming. So if they don't do anything and try to stop this, I just think this dragon just goes over, and they're gonna try to bum rush it right now. Like, you have to fight at this very moment, Elysium. Come on, boys, you gotta do it.
Turn Crystal only gonna land onto Perma there. He will eat that one up. Banish Toss misses. Headbutt Pulverize gonna go back on the front line. His carry Boogie goes in 1v2 on the backside, trying to peel back there. He does get the Sivir. AD carry gonna be deleted from the team fight. His K-Pep's gonna follow up with the other Bandage Toss. They will get to Caitlyn. His Gwen returns fire in this one. Second kill of the game for her. They're turning on Boogie. Still relentless, still pursuing. Olsen gonna fall here back over for the dragon, but the smite is good for K-Peps as Elysium go huge in that team fight, only lose losing Dilly and killing 4.
Oh my
Boogie.
God.
I mean, it looked good there for a moment because Gwen, picked off the Caitlyn, but in reality, it didn't matter. Boogie was just popping off on the backline that whole time and just.
Oh my man. I was not expecting the Fiora to be able to get into the backline like that. But Sejuani and Alistar just weren't there to stop her. And as soon as she picks off the Sivir, you can tell the fight's going their way. Because you just lost your main damage source against a team that's already way up on gold. And honestly, that could just be the game straight off a play like that. Making mistakes like that when you're the comp that wants to team fight and misplaying a team fight that hard just hurts the soul. It makes it way harder to play out.
Agreed. That flash that Sivir blew earlier was the window right there. Once they saw that the fight was starting, Fiora was like, "I stand back, let me cook for a second." Goes into the backline, deletes the Sivir by hitting every vital, and then follows up by I think even killing the Victor shortly after that. It's just that champion is just so good. And I think Boogie has convinced me to start playing Fiora again, but this is exactly what happened in the last game. Through superior team fighting, Elysium started taking control. Objective bounties now active as they're almost 10k gold up. I mean, there's still a window of hope. I mean, Sivir is still obnoxiously strong right now, so like realistically, they could still win team fights. It's just gonna be so hard and mad. And they're going with the 4-1. It looks like they're just waiting for the Ash Arrow to be thrown over. I think that's kind of their window. Oh, here we go.
Glacial Prison goes across the snake well peel back. Petrifying Gaze comes out, but Legacy turns back around. Just under 60% health for the AD carry. His Needlework already procced as well. A lot of ultimates on the side of Orbit. They're down right now. Aurora, they have to field this defense right now. Is Boogie gonna get the repulse back out? He will get a turret. And Gate's gonna go into the Sivir. They will pick off the AD carry. So now it's a 5v4 potential to end the game here. They need to play correctly. Is Boogie constantly pushing in 5 strong with the Baron right now. They're taking down the inhibitors. K-Peps goes ahead and gets headbutted to safety. That's got to be a misplay from Insanity. The description is in the name. Nexus turret number 1 under threat right now. They have to pull the trigger because they're going to be the lead. It's going to be a 2-0 and Trigger Star goes out. They're going to root up the Alistar. He will fill all his hamburgers for dinner tonight. And you said let him cook here, freak. And that's exactly what Elysium are doing. You let them cook and they're going to take this series 2-0.
What a game. It's just what a wow, just
wow.
Boogie played out of his mind that game. I mean, that first solo kill when that happened, it's like, okay, this could be bad for the top lane. And that's exactly what happened. God, I'm so glad Fiora's back in the meta. We're out of this tank top meta. You get just spicy picks like Fiora into Gwen and even Aurelia up there. We got Jax back up there. Cassante is now another option. Jace is never left, but I saw him in the LPL last night and it's just, oh man. I'm going to gather my thoughts for a second, but like Trash, like, was that as hype as you expected it to be?
I'm not going to lie. It was way hyper than I thought it was going to be. That was just insanity. I did not expect for Fiora to throw down the gauntlet that hard in the top lane. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you pick with confidence, and that was 100% one of those times. They threw down the Fiora knowing, you know what? We may have struggled in the last game a bit, but I feel like I'm the better player, so I'm throwing down the gauntlet champion, and we're gonna send this matchup right into it. See who makes it through. And they played it incredibly. The other side, OGR, they did misplay quite a bit towards the end in those team fights. They didn't really manage to protect that Sivir, and because of that, the other team was able to get onto the Sivir, blow her up. Then what do you have left for damage? You have Victor. Well, yeah, but he doesn't even have Rabadons yet, so he's not, gonna carry that damage the way Sivir is. And Gwen is so far behind, she barely matters anymore. So being able to shut down your Sivir that hard in every team fight is just absolutely brutal to play through.
And I want to come back, Freak. I want to discuss this as we just close out week 1, I should say, rather than game 1. And Do you know what? That top lane matchup, we were really hyped up to see that Gwen go up against the Fiora, albeit it wasn't the K'Sante that, you know, you normally take these picks into. And Gwen makes a resurgence, but man, what a performance from Boogie. I mean, he may as well been John Travolta up there because he was the main character and he stole the damn show.
I agree. I'm looking at the damage charts right now, and Boogie did the most damage in the game. 21,500 damage. That's he literally took over the game. I mean, I noticed when we were watching it when he got into those fights, he hit every vital basically that he needed to hit, except the one where was behind. But you're not going to try to force that one every time. But the other three, you're going to try to force unless he ulted. Then he would hit. I think he hit all four every single time.
Yes. Yeah.
And just. I strive to be as good as Boogie sometimes. It's just I'm looking at the damage charts and like Sivir only did 8,000 damage. She didn't get the chance to pop off that we normally see her, and it's just they got the better of them, and I'm pretty excited for what the potential next thing is, and let's see what we're happening. What are we doing next? Lam? What's happening?
Well, let me tell you. So before we actually go on to what's next, because I mean we got stuff cooking in the SCL. You've seen stuff cooking from Boogie in that one. But Trash, I want to come to you. This was your first cast, and you were joined by us, and it was a tri-cast, and we made it work, baby. And I want to say you did a phenomenal aspect of analyzing the game here. How did you enjoy your first time on air in the SCL?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I've only done casts like myself or maybe with a friend or two. But oh my god, you guys are a real deal. I wasn't ready to hop in for 100-person stream with 2 casters that, bro, are you guys not in the LCS yet? Because you're better than all their casters, my man.
Whoa, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Listen, take up the first day.
Captain Flowers.
Captain Flowers.
Clayton's my boy. Let me tell you, Clayton blessed us.
Captain Flowers is the GOAT. No one beats him. You know, but there's some casters on there you guys got beat. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, let me just say that is the biggest compliment we'll ever get here on the SCO. And of course, if you want to see me, Freak, and Trash, you need to tune in every week. But I believe once you take a look at that schedule, there is SCL in the near future. But just want to kind of close out with this hypothesis here, guys. So we'll kind of just go back over both of the teams here. So we already mentioned at the beginning of the night that Orbit were undefeated against Elysium. And now the organization just said, to hell with that curse, we're going to turn it around to your Freak. And they did that in such style that they can be proud of tonight. But if you're going to iron out any creases and you're going to take stuff away and kind of break it down and make it better for going forward, week 1 is the way to do that. So we're expecting a big fight back from Aurora as the season goes on.
I agree. I think they'll make a great showing as the season goes on. And I think Elysium is, as you mentioned, it's like Orbit had an easy time beating them, and I think that like they could be the potential dark horse. I mean, just the way that they played and just the team fighting. Oh, don't even get me started. The team fighting was the best part of the whole series from Elysium. And Orbit did extremely well, like holding their own and even getting ahead a little bit at some points. But just something about Elysium just being better in the team fights. And I think it comes down to a communication thing. I imagine both teams had great communication, but at the end of the day, it's just
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. It was but you know what? It was in favor of Elysium Aces as they start their journey in the SCL, debuting in the SCL this season as a 2-0 team. So to get things wrapped up here, we give a big shout out to everybody that stayed tuned for the whole. I mean, it was an incredible opening day for the SCL, and we got more action coming at you. You just need to stay tuned. If you're not in the Discord, hell, one of the moderators, there's several in the chat, and they will get you in there. But from me, Lamb, from Freak, from our boy Trash debuting tonight, and from our first-time producer, Skylar, the CEO, Vince McMahon, he did a pretty good job as well. We're going to bid you guys a good night and farewell. God bless, and we'll see you next time the SCL rolls around.
Peace.